girl. Pose. Hello.
Hello. This is the first time you've done your new intro on here, and I was like, wait, I wasn't expecting that. That was delightful.
I double dipped. I was like, let me do the countdown and then jump this in too. Yo, I'm already sweating in my upper lip. Listen, getting older is just, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Although as this TikTok did say, men lied. You look way better the older you get. I'm so sorry. Like,
but also you are gorgeous, so like I guess it is gorgeous as well.
I have like tufts of hair sticking out of places. I'm like,
I feel that. I'm like, I slapped makeup on my face, but I still feel like frazzled, and I'm just like, whatever, we're here.
Listen, it's been a while. It's been a minute. We've had a lot of things happen. Not everything was bad, but like it wasn't all great.
The best you can say about the last year and a quarter, not everything was bad.
Yeah, not everything was bad, but it wasn't all great. For those of you new, before we get started here, first of all, I've lost my rings. I had them on to film today. I have no idea where I put them. I know I put them somewhere safe. But I don't know where that safe place is. This is why I just leave shit where the fuck I'd lay it. Like, this is why. Okay. This is exactly why.
I had that realization this morning because I had depotted some of my older Kaleidos highlighters, and I like the packaging. So in here has my memory cards. But then I also put the rings that I regularly use, and I picked it up this morning looking for something else. I was like, why is this so heavy? Oh, there are my rings. Cool. Because I misplaced a memory card in the middle of Grinchmas, and I was just like, and it's gone in the ether. And I'm like, well, I need to figure out a better solution than just having them places.
I'm going to try to do, no, I'm not.
No.
But of course, I do want to say hello. Welcome to the live stream. I am Audra of Audra at Home. It's my channel, and you're in my home. And this is the lovely Emily Han.
Hello.
One of my dearest friends in the world, and someone I am very happy to collaborate with regularly twice a week and sometimes 3 times a week if we're feeling froggy for the podcast, which, speaking of which, new episode coming up. Also, hello to everyone in the live stream. Big ups to all of you who are mods. Thank you for taking on this non-paying job. I appreciate every single one of you.
This volunteer, hopefully pleasure. I can only hope.
And a shout out to all of my patrons, all of Emily's patrons, all of our channel members. Thank you, because without y'all, honestly, this would just be like a small little ship that goes nowhere. Probably goes to an island of skunks that spray you consistently.
Oh, it's not even gonna get to an island. It's just gonna stay floating in the dock, you know, of my life, whatever that means. I appreciate Sharon for welcoming so many people in this one message. So I just wanted to put that on the screen to also welcome.
Put that up there. Hello. Hello to all you regulars. Hello to all you noobs. What are you doing today? I don't know why I'm being like
hello
this.
To anybody that's not actually talking in the chat, but just here.
Hi, lurkers.
We see you. We love you.
Hi, lurkers. How are you? Don't worry. I don't expect you to say anything. Like, you can totally lurk in the background. It's so fine. In the Island of Skunks, yes, Cecily. Yes. Hi, Beauty Jag. Skunks are hella cute. 93, like, it's so cute. In fact, I'm playing Far Cry, and I got sprayed by a skunk in the game. It was so cute though, because it was like, and it was like, Psst, and I was like, oh no, why? I did nothing to you.
Somehow, this makes me think of the video that came out yesterday, the collaboration that Audra and I did with Teresa and Lacey, Spooky Lips and Fat Hips, where I had the audacity from some to call fruit bats not cute. And I did not know that that was going to be the theme of a good 75% of the comments on that video, was either agreeing or disagreeing. But like everyone had an opinion. And I kind of feel like I don't know if I agree that skunks are cute, but I also haven't looked at a video game or real life skunk in a very long time.
Skunks
So
are adorable.
I'm just going to continue to drink before I create your comment section, like make your comment section blow up.
First of all, there will be Yolanda. There will be no bat slander. Not in my pagan household. Not in my pagan household. There will be
Cheers,
no bat
Yolanda.
slander.
Cheers.
Hi, Bridget. How are you today?
Although I agree, Cheesy B, which is
Cheesy B.
You should. I don't care if you don't know what Twitch is or if you're not a video game person. If you enjoy Audra's energy, you should follow Audra on Twitch and just
and good news. I keep my face off of there for the most part. Like you don't even have to see me. You can just listen to me be weird, and I'm actually grateful for that because when I did something, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but I was doing some kind of really strange hip humping dance because I like defeated an enemy and I was like standing up, like humping the air, like awkwardly. So like I would actually prefer to just stay like hidden. Oh, Bridget, merry meet. Yay! I love running into other pagans. Like it's wonderful because like I'm always careful about the line between like Wiccan and I'm more pagan than I am Wiccan. Both are like intertwined, but I'm like far more pagan and like Hecate is that's what I do. But that is where I fall under, and that was very an organic thing that happened. So I was like, oh, okay, dark and light.
One of these days, we're going to have to do a stream or podcast about the topic because I am curious. If you want to, I obviously am not going to force you to do anything. But yeah,
here's the thing. I don't tell the story of how I became fully pagan because most people would think that I was an insane person, and I just don't want to deal with the backlash from people just being like, you're an insane person. And I'm like, I'm not. Like, I know. Yay. Also, we're like, what? There's not a theme except for like today. We just kind of want to chat, hang out, have a good time. I'm currently drinking a zombie killer cider, and that's the name of it's zombie killer. And then I also put some Tito's vodka in it. So like our Lord and Savior Batman, Ronnie, hey boo, how you been?
I saw that comment. I was like, hey Robbie. I was like, nothing against you, but no man is my Lord and Savior. Okay, that's all.
First of all, Batman is a bully, okay? Like, if you look at it, Batman is the metaphor for America. And all of the supervillains that he created are all of the other countries that we destroyed. Okay, listen.
That's some very, very spicy hot tea that I
don't get me started on like, listen. I have very strong anti-Batman feelings, like because I think Batman's a dick.
And I genuinely like could not give fewer fucks about superheroes in general.
See, I love them. I love like I like a lot of superhero stuff, but like
Deja's energy right now, Batman would lose to Kim Possible. Facts. This is why also we can show up with nothing to talk about and y'all instantly just inspire us. So this is why he's America, except we don't actually have that much money. Okay.
American imperialism. He buys all these gadgets, all these toys, and what does he do? He causes what? Mayhem. Mayhem is what he causes, you know? I'm just saying. Yeah. He causes mayhem. Everywhere he goes, chaos follows. Not the good kind of fun, chaotic, frenetic energy I bring to the table, but like he makes supervillains. He makes them. Every time he does some shit, A supervillain is me.
It's a very America energy right now, very much so. Like not just right now, but in general with Batman. Um, yeah. So as you can see, we had no themes planned because if you don't know this, Audra lives in Texas.
I do.
Texas last week had what you saw happen and is still recovering. So
Yeah.
that's why we weren't here last week. And then, life happens and it was like, yeah, let's do this Wednesday, Thursday instead of Tuesday, Thursday. And so we're just here to hang out. I have a cider. I might get up in a moment and make a bourbon cider drink
Do
situation,
it.
but I'm gonna
We're gonna
start with
get
my
spicy.
my cider. Yes, yes, very
Also,
spicy.
we have two celebrations.
Yes,
One quick. I did hit 9K, so thank y'all. Like what we are like we're on track to hit 9K 10K for my birthday, and I'm like the fuck, like I
10K
don't really don't
for
know
your
what to
birthday.
say. Like if I actually get 10K for my birthday, like I don't even know. Like I don't even know. I'll be like 41. I'd be like, but most importantly, because my favorite thing in the world is celebrating my friends. Okay, Teresa's dead. Hit 50K, y'all. Teresa's dead. Hit
50,000
50 fucking.
subscribers.
They are getting a plaque. I like. Listen,
Yes,
I
yes.
if they keep going on this path, I feel like they'll hit 100K by the end of the year.
This was what I was gonna say. I was like, at the rate in which they're growing. Yeah. Mhm.
Yes, yes, it's amazing.
Also, this is that new makeup nonsense bump. Not just
Wait,
because of
what I do?
Teresa, not just because of Lacey, but because people love new makeup nonsense bingo. So I'm not surprised
Marriage
to see that.
spaceship. Yes, I will be 41. Shut the front door. I will not. Well, actually, I will because I don't want anybody coming in. But like,
Yes. Yes.
if you want it, then you got it. Let me know. Let me know. Every time somebody says, let's go, that's all I do. Sherry, mine is April 30th. April 30th is when my birthday is. I'm very, very excited. Angie, hey, girl. Hey, the spider community
Hello.
says hello. So, so here's the thing. Another fun thing. I'm gonna tell y'all a story. I talked about this on my Twitch, but we're gonna talk about this. So in the midst of all of the snow and the chaos and the no electricity and cold and no water, I'm gonna see if I can do this without getting weepy. Some wonderful members of LGG paid me a personal visit. And this is not an encouragement for other people to provide me a personal visit. This was a sanctioned visit. Okay, moving on. So paid me a personal visit and dropped off some goodies. And the entire time, like Emily's giving me the play-by-play of like when they're going to arrive. So at one point we're on Marco Polo, and Emily's like, okay, they're about like 15 minutes away. And so Emily goes, I don't want you to worry about it. I hope you're just like relaxed and doing this. I Marco Polo back. I go, girl, nah, I am curled
You're
up in the
like,
farthest corner of my couch like motherfucking Schmiegel watching this fucking door like it's gonna bite me. Like I am
because I
not
knew
kidding.
you were not actually relaxing, but me trying to find some morsel of positivity because I am shower time. Yeah, I was like, maybe me saying you should relax and relax, and you're just like
No,
in a ball
absolutely
curled
not.
up, like
Like I literally was like, I was hunched. I'm not kidding. When I'm telling you that I was hunched in the corner like Schmiegel, I really was over there like precious, like away, Natalie. I really was. I was like, no, like I cannot. So it's like,
there was a lot of help, like not even H-E-L-P, but H-A-L-P, help coming from both sides. And I
no, I
was
was
in
like,
the middle, just like, I love both of you. We're gonna make this work.
listen, this is a dramatic reenactment. No, this is a true reenactment of me going to the door to see if like they're there, but like also not there. I was like, Like that was the entire, like I would not, I was like literally like, I was having like a whole freak show and I was just like, and then I opened the door and the water was there and the care package. I had soup and turkey chili with beans because chili without beans, I don't even understand what that is. It's a meat soup. That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't even make sense. Like
Those
why?
two words
That's
don't belong together. Meat
meat
soup.
and soup.
Like soup can have meat in it, but meat soup doesn't need to be a thing. I agree with you on your opinion about chili beans. And here's the interesting thing is that like it's not like any of this was like this was all trying to reduce anxiety because
Mhm.
gift giving, donation receiving can like activate different anxieties in different people. There was also the security reasons for in terms of the panacea, the pancake, whatever, like those kind of safety health reasons. And for the person giving the things, like just all these different things. So like you were stressed, but this was probably the least stressed version of you
Yes.
receiving things that
Yeah.
could have been.
Because I'm not going to lie. This isn't like humbleness. I am a hard person to do things for. I am the kind of person that will sit there and not have any money and not have any food and I won't say anything at all. Like I will just sit there quietly. My mother finally had to just like get on my ass and she was like, just put my card on your Uber Eats and when you're hungry, order some food. I have given you permission. Order some food.
Well,
So like
even
I even
so
my own mother, like I'm so weird about it. And because of this entire pistachio, like I have lost my ability to like interact with people in person. Like I used to be very good at masking, but now I'm absolutely terrible at it. And so now I
yeah.
feel like if people were to like come and I had to meet them, I would just be like, I'm very stilted in general. And it's either I am completely still in like robotic movement or I'm just like loosey goosey Gumby. Like I don't know what happened. I'm just like, whoa, 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 and I
The
can't
let
stop
me
like
love
moving myself
you. Oh my goodness. So
around.
the day that this like there was a road trip happening, I wasn't exactly sure what specific day they would be there, but then the day where I was like, I think they want to like bring you stuff today, Audra was like, I that like I don't I'm good. I don't need these things. Like I'm okay. It's like I think I'm good. And I was like, let them give you things. Like let is like if you don't like it, some of the things that because like a lot of it was like shelf stable food and whatever. Some of it, yes, there was like, okay, we know you like turkey chili, we know you like certain canned soups, but there was other things where I was like, you might not actually want these things, and if you don't need them, you can always give them to a neighbor or donate them somewhere. Like, but I was just like if I could grab my phone right now and shake it, I was like, let them give you things, Audra.
Well, and here's the thing: the water is clutch. Two reasons.
Yes.
One, probably until this Sunday, I've still been continuing to brush my teeth with the bottled water because even though they're like, oh, we've tested the water and it's safe for human consumption, I'm like, yeah, but what about all the shit that's like just still sitting there? Like, I just don't trust my government like to be kind to me and do anything that's like
Rightfully
going to be
so.
helpful. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep using the bottled water. The other is Bo. So for those of you that don't know, when I first got Bo, I had trouble giving him tap water. He wouldn't drink it. And so I had to give him bottled water for a long period of time. And at one point, he was drinking fucking Fiji water. Yes, that's right. My dog was drinking Fiji water. I don't want to talk about it. My dog is spoiled. We're going to move on. So I had finally gotten him off of it, but he started back again on his bullshit where he was like, I don't want to drink this water. And I was like, please drink it. Please. And then this happened. And then I had to give him bottled water. He's drinking water voraciously. And please don't try to tell me, like, oh, no, no, if you put tap water in the bottle, no. Here's what happens. I put tap water on the tap water in the bottle. I put the bottle in the fridge. It'll be the next day. I get that bottle. I pour the bottle into his water bowl. He walks over to it and goes like this. He knows. He gives me a bitch what look. Like like straight up, just like, bitch, what is this? Did you think I wouldn't smell that this is tap water? I could smell it. And I'm like, I thought maybe cold was what you wanted. No, I want the fresh shit like you get. I'm like, okay, bro.
The chat is full of so many good points, by the way. Like, wait, Chelsea, I highlighted it, but Chelsea Rose said, I'm from Michigan. We had Flint. Do not trust water. Like,
yes.
I just don't trust our government either. So I understand in terms of the water situation.
Y'all
don't, you know what? Bo already has an ego. Nobody needs to boost up Bo's ego anymore.
Yeah, Bo, listen, I walked in today, like I went outside, I don't know, I was outside, I come back in. The coffee table is askew. Bo looks chagrined and slightly embarrassed. I look at him, I look at the coffee table, I look at the couch, realize there's a pillow falling that's on the floor. And I realized when I left him, he was on his back. He sleeps on his back a lot. Like I don't know who he thinks he is, but he sleeps on his back. He's adorable. I believe he fell off the couch, and then because he fell off the couch, he shoved the coffee table, and he was very surprised and shocked by this whole situation, thought he was going to get in trouble because everything was moved. And I'm just looking at him like, I just really don't know what happened here. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, this dog, I have to let him know, like, if I, like, when I'm using the restroom, TMI moment coming forward, when I'm using the restroom and I'm getting the toilet paper off, he's like, he'll be in the bathroom, because honestly, the only time I can really keep him out is like first thing in the morning. I can close the door, but after that, it just becomes like just too much of a pain in my arse to do that. So I'm like getting the toilet paper. He gets up and leaves, but he always stops and like looks back to see if I'm okay. And then I have to go, I got this. And then he kind of looks at me again and then like walks out of the bathroom. I'm like, bro, like what do you think's happening in here? He's like, I don't know. I shit outside. Like that seems to be his thing. He's like, I don't know. I shit outside in the grass. It's weird to me. Every day you just sit on this pot and I don't understand it. You don't even kick your legs after you're done. I'm like, I don't have to kick my. There's not
work
grass.
That way for me, so. I was gonna say the tap water here in New York is good. I don't fuck with bottled water, like unless I'm out and need to. The tap water here is delicious, but tap water is different everywhere. I remember when I would visit family in Tennessee, I'd be like, oh, this no, this tap water. Like
Texas is weird. There are certain places that have really good tap water. Like where I am, there's actually the tap water is actually really, really good. They also have like a no dumping on like all of the sewer grates. They have it say like no dumping. This is the city's supply of water. So they have all of that. And yeah, it is like Thorn. It is. Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Go for it.
Oh, the Thorn moment.
Yes, it is hard. Texas water is hard as fuck. Like I have a stainless steel sink, because as Thorn now knows, I live in a bougie ass apartment complex, which I got when I had a hijab. So now that I am self-employed, speaking of which, I got to start doing more shit for my taxes. Anyways, now that I'm self-employed, it's a big stainless steel sink, but because the water is so hard, every time I do the dishes, I have to like scrub the sink too, because the water leaves all these droplet stains everywhere.
I bet that also affects like when you're taking showers, like how it like your skin.
That's why like I have a bunch of stuff to like smooth my skin. I also clean the shower when I'm in the shower. Like I have a foot sponge and like I'll put the stuff like it's not a foot sponge. There's no such thing as a foot sponge as far as I'm aware. But I use a sponge and I call it my foot sponge because I use my feet to clean my shower floor because it's a
Might as
shower.
well.
It's not a tub.
Yeah.
Like you've seen it, like it's an
Yeah.
actual stand-up shower. So I'll like spray, like while I'm in there, I'll like throw down the cleaner and then like use my foot on the sponge and clean it up because it's significantly easier to clean whilst I'm in there because again, it is in fact a shower and not a tub, and it's hard to clean the shower floor if you're not in it. So I may as well just do that. Yolanda, I don't know why UPS knocks like they're the police. It's rude.
A friend of mine has like I guess it's a garden level apartment or it's a basement level, whatever. Her windows are like at street level, basically. And I was at her place months and months ago, and FedEx came and they just like banged not on the door, on the window. Like three like hard taps on like the window, and I was like, what is wrong with them? Like that can break. Like, first of all, we have a door. It's 2 feet from the window you just banged on. And also, if you break the fucking window, are you gonna pay for this, FedEx? Are you gonna fix this in the middle of winter? No.
Well, like FedEx only knocks if they're not bringing me Chewy. Like if they're bringing Chewy deliveries, they don't knock because the sound of that box hitting the ground, they're like, you obviously heard that, bitch. You heard that. If you were in your house, you heard that. But
the
like,
FedEx in Brooklyn is bad. Like they will just say that they claim to do a delivery and never leave a slip, never have knocked. Like just I've had so many issues anytime anything is sent to me from FedEx, except for if it's from Yes Style. When it's a Yes Style package, they just like throw it at the base of my steps. But anything else, they'll like try to leave a slip, or like they've delivered it to the like pharmacy 3 or 4 blocks away from me when I was home the whole time, like in the middle of everything going on, home all day every day, and I get this notice in my email, not even on my door, that it's like, or I looked at the tracking and it's like it was delivered to the Walgreens or whatever, and I'm like, that's not my address, and I've been here the whole time. Just
FedEx is actually the worst. I worked in transportation for I think 3 years, 4 years. I don't know. I worked in transportation for a while. 4 years. And FedEx is the worst to deal with because they lie a lot about like what's going on with what and like how they're getting it there. UPS is, I like UPS better because you can actually communicate with UPS, and it's easier to communicate with UPS than it is to communicate with FedEx. That is the sweetest thing. For those of y'all just listening, Dark Angel said, I have heard that dogs, wolves watch each other for protection. So the following you in the bathroom is to protect you. And I'm like, oh, he's protecting me from my unruly number 2.
He's protecting you from the unknown, even though the unknown is your own apartment.
And Jenna, this is actually true. Any city or town that has a brewery, any kind of like booze manufacturing, especially if you have, it's not just the Budweiser brewery, it's also if they have a lot of smaller breweries, they will have bomb water. That's one of the reasons why where I live, and Thorne can probably attest to it, that's one of the reasons where I live, the water is fucking pretty amazing because they have a lot of breweries around. And since they have a lot of breweries, that is such a weird word to say. Moving on.
I know, brewery.
I'm like brewery.
The EWER. I'm like,
like since they have a lot of since they have a lot of those around, they tend to make sure that the water is A+ because that's the only way that they'll be able to make good beer, and those good beers stimulate the city's economy. So they're gonna
they do. I love it's great finding places with like lots of like little local breweries and things like that, and distilleries.
Well, yes. Listen,
but not everything is the same. Oh yeah,
I hate this so much because there's words that make you feel like a moron every time you say it. You're like, yes, in rural areas. In rural areas.
It's that when those noises are together, because rural, it's the RR, and brewery, it's the WR like.
Well, here's the problem. English stole so much from other languages. And Chelsea, I fucking love you for that. I am done with live stream over. I'm finished. That spelling is like exactly. Let me. This is how I want to end life, on a good note, like right there.
Okay, like, on that note, I don't need my flannel.
But he's like, stop that laughing. Don't you remember? Because them weasels laughed to death.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit is one of the best movies that have ever been released, and I will happily fight anybody that disagrees.
Yeah, like, because I will say that, and people who don't know it, when I say that, when I'm like, stop that laughing, and nobody knows, I'm like, what?
So sometimes I don't remember movie references, and then once it's explained, like one more sentence, I'm like, oh yeah, but like in the moment, I don't always.
Like, I'm done. I was like, and Maynard spaceship. Like, you have to like drop, like lift and drop your tongue, and I think that that's why it's so hard, is because you have to be like rural.
Yeah.
To say
and in a
it.
very like short word. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, this is why I think as Americans we have so much difficulty with, which we should like really just learn, because stop pretending like we can't say things. But like, we like, why we have so much difficulty is because we stole all this shit from other languages, and then rather than like make it a word that's easier for us to say, we just like try to make it sound American. And so we're just like, rural. And now that sounds like a dog barking, you know?
Wow,
like, can we just call it country? Like, can we just say country or uninhabited or lightly inhabited? Like, do we have to say that other word? It's weak. Like, we can't say that. Anybody who says it feels moronic every time. I've seen people on TikTok trying to say it, people on YouTube trying to say it, people on Instagram, people on every social media. In the arms of the angels. Every day on social media, someone tries to say the word rural, and they stumble upon it. And
then it would just have clips of like
for
rural,
a few dollars
rural.
or cents, you can help them to say it, or have Alexa say it for them. So please donate today, because Americans have a hard time saying rural.
And then it's like call 1-800-12 rural.
I know. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Tina's here. Oh, hi, Tina. Tina Cook.
Welcome.
Yes, that's about like this is another issue.
Lead,
like, read or lead.
Yeah.
And how come lead and lead is not the same?
And then there's lead, lead, and lead.
Yes. What?
Lose and loose. Choose and chose and choose. Like,
which is just, like, honestly, like, now I've stopped being mean to people when they spell out loose. Because here's the thing, especially on social media, we need to stop being dicks about that.
Grammar, being I have come such a long way in how I view like the grammar dicks, the people that are like, oh, that's not how you like. I just realized that, first of all, English makes no fucking sense. Second of all, not everyone English is their first language, and that doesn't make them any better or worse than anyone else. Third of all, English is my first language, and I still fucking suck at it. So, like, I get annoyed at that, like, oh, well, even the your versus your, there, like, I'm like, you know what? Yes, it might be annoying to see, but I'm not going to be like, your fucking opinion is invalid because you don't know how to use there. Just like, shut up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they're saying, I didn't understand why you have to know how a word in English is pronounced before you can read it until I realized English borrowed from French and how many letters are just not pronounced in French. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. Is if you look at like a lot of French words like bourgeoisie, like there's
Yeah.
like all these letters in the word that you just don't say.
Like
You're
the
like,
word
okay.
though. Why is there like 4 extra letters in though? Like, what is with the UGH? Ugh.
Ooh, Ashley. Ashley has come in with a listen. We're going to talk
So,
about Becca. I will not
yes.
talk about Nomad, and here's why. I'm just going to be honest. I'm biased. I know the owner, and they're very kind. They're a good person, so I can't talk about that in a non-biased manner.
Yeah.
Also, I don't have enough information because if I'm going to be honest, I actually try not to pay a lot of attention to makeup news and beauty news because that's what keeps me from buying bunches of shit I don't need. So
Yeah.
I don't follow trend mood or any of those. I use them for our new makeup nonsense bingo to like put shit in and do that, but I don't follow it.
Yeah.
Becca,
I just wanted to also say, I just want to say for Nomad, I think they fucked up. I think they can get better. I don't consider them fully canceled. I don't think what happened is cancel culture, but I also don't feel fully knowledgeable about the situation. But if y'all didn't know, Becca Cosmetics is closing as of September of
September.
2021.
I'm powdering my face because I'm like, did the four of us just single-handedly accidentally end Becca? No, just kidding. They
I mean,
didn't.
I've
Of
been
course, it
wanting
was
to end them for a year back when you were still singing their praises, and I'm over here like, whatever, fuck Becca.
listen, this foundation is fucking bay. All right. I don't want to hear it. Although I do need to go a shade lighter now. But like, and I'm gonna wait. Like the looter I am. And by looting, that I mean that in the video game sense of looting, I'm going to wait. Because as they
Oh,
go out
till
of
it's on
business,
sale.
I get to buy new shit. Guess what I get to replace, y'all? I know that sounds horrible, but it's true.
Your
Listen,
broken
capitalism.
chocolate geode, right?
Yes, I'm going to
Thank
replace my
you for
broken
the
chocolate
gift.
geode. Listen, I'm going to be moving down the line, moving on up. So I'm gonna be buying all the shit. Like also this primer is really nice. This is a nice primer. It is the Becca Skin Love Brighten and Blur. You can't see this shit because the fucking light is bright as shit. But this is a really good primer. So I'll buy another like one or of those. I keep like wanting to go one or two, and I'm like,
I
no, don't say two. And I'm like
I
one or
might
one.
pick up the Skin Love foundation if it's on super sale. Like because you've mentioned it. I'm not like, oh, I need, but I also think that somebody else in the chat said, oh, they think that Becca sorry, I missed it. But basically that it might get repackaged.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Emperor's New Foundation, definitely. But I will say I think this happens especially when because you have all of these like monster brands that own all of these other brands. So like if you've never paid attention, something that's happened, it wasn't repackaging, but like there has been a product that was released by I think Tom Ford that matched up with formulas of something out there by Smashbox and by MAC,
Yep.
all under the same umbrella. So I could see some of the things that are in the Becca line, those formulas might end up in like Estee Lauder
Yep.
or other brands that Estee Lauder owns that are not this is Becca repackaged, but it's a new product that's shockingly similar to a popular product that Becca had. Like even their under eye corrector or their bronzer or their blush, things like that. Like I could see kind of those formulas staying in use, but just not under the unique branding of Becca. So
Ouch! Damn it! I hurt myself. Um, yeah, I like their highlighters and I like their foundations. I just think that they refused they here's my issue. I feel like they honestly refused in every way possible to just grow and do something like either do something different or stick with what you know, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody knows what you can do. Like this is one of the things, like even if you look at indie brands, right? Like Davina knows that what they do well are multi-chrome shadows.
Yeah.
There's literally no reason for them to switch their business model and start doing a bunch of stuff if they're not going to be great at it, right? And if you do something and it doesn't work out, then you just go back to what you should be doing. But the problem is they kept trying to repackage their same shit instead of
Well,
make new shit. So
well,
like
yeah, like, and I
Becca,
think
they wouldn't make a new highlighter. They just stuck with the same shit and put it in different packaging over and over and over again.
so I think the thing with, first of all, I agree with Yolanda about I'm not emotionally attached to Estee Lauder. If any of these big brands go out of business, I don't care. Like, I didn't share the Becca thing to my stories, even though I
Mm-hmm.
saw a lot of people, and I'm like, you're sharing the brand's Instagram post. You know, that's like, what's I kind of felt like, what's the point? Anyway, but like, I'm not attached to them. But I think with Becca, I felt like they got out formulated. They
Mm-hmm.
never, and even if they wanted to stick with the highlighters they had, I think if they had come out with another line of highlighters and made them more of that glittery or more high shine, the kinds that are trending right now, I think that more people would really have like been able to continue to use Becca, because I think they do have a nice blush formula. I've heard their bronzer formula is nice. Like, but I think that the highlighter formulas got shinier and more like intense. And then for those that have veered back into a more natural highlight, they've evolved past Becca. So in
Yeah.
2020, 2021, I saw more people talking about how they're using more of the less intense highlighters these days.
Yeah.
Um, but
Which
I
good
think
for
that
them, I guess.
they've
Enjoy it.
already
But
moved past Becca, and there's the fuck hourglass with the hourglass skin finish kind of effects and all of that. But like, yeah, like I don't have Bitter Lace Beauty, but like I will use my indie single eyeshadows. I will even today
yes.
I have this motherfucker, this like Danessa Myricks, like this is where I think Becca could have evolved to. These are super shiny, but they're
Yes.
not glittery. They're just shiny. Like
Yes.
it's just absolutely like glowy and metallic without feeling as thick. And for me, the Becca highlighters that I've had a couple of them on my skin, they've never given me the shine that I wanted. They were never quite the right tones to actually lift and illuminate. They were just not quite right for my skin. So yeah,
Yeah.
I do think it's
Because like
interesting that
even the
Estee.
highlighter I have on
Oh
right
yeah,
now though,
yeah.
like this is that shameless plug, Collective Cosmetics. Use code Audra for 10% off.
You have
It's an
a yeah.
affiliate code. That's a win. But this highlighter, you can make it as intense as you want
Yeah,
it to be. I make it
exactly.
super intense. I because if you look at it, it doesn't have to be blinding if you don't want it to be blinding. And I think that
Yeah,
that's the thing is the people who are no longer interested in a blinding highlight, they're not saying they don't want an exciting highlight. All they're saying is, I don't want it to be like blinding from the jump. This highlighter, you can have it be very like light and lovely and like, hey, or like today I kicked it up 72 notches. It's on my nose and it's on my
yeah,
cheek and it's just like, bam, it's in your face, right? I feel like Becca had two modes, like okay, and then like ah,
yeah.
and they
And
couldn't
I
figure out like have like a nice in between. And I just really think that yes,
and I think
vision of
Ofra. Oh yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
right back. I'm grabbing something.
Oh, you're cool. Like I think that in Sephora's and Ulta's, like for a while, it was like, oh, Becca would be the first place I would look for highlighters. But then Laura Mercier started doing highlighters. Marc Jacobs has them. There's Charlotte Tilbury. There are all of these different brands that are doing it, not just the indie stuff. The indie brands, of course, are doing their thing, but there's brands within these big box stores that were competing. And I felt like Becca, I kind of felt a similar vibe to not the exact same frustration that we've had with Hourglass, but I felt like with Becca, when they kept doing these face palettes, I was like, but where are the multiple releases?
Yeah.
Why isn't there a light, a medium, a deep? Like when they did those fucking split pan champagne pop and blush things with Jaclyn Hill years ago. And I was like, but why didn't they do that again? But instead of the same highlighter in every one, doing a highlighter shade and a blush shade. Like when those were released, I was like, those are gorgeous, but Champagne Pop doesn't work for me. And at that point in time, I didn't realize how much I didn't like Jaclyn Hill either. But different story. But like I felt like they had these decent ideas and good formulas, and they weren't doing anything with it. And then I felt like they were trying to do eyeshadows, but they never really did them well. Like I wonder if there is a way to be a successful brand in a Sephora Ulta that with a more narrow product line. Like if they had really stuck to just complexion, just foundation, primer, highlighter, blush, bronzer, not done eyeshadows, not done lip products, like could they have succeeded and grown that way? I don't know.
Lauren, DM me on Instagram. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm Audra at home on Instagram. Please DM me.
Yeah. But yeah, so and then I thought it was interesting that Estee Lauder also, at the same time that they announced this Becca closure, they just recently fully bought Decium, which is the brand that is the Ordinaries from. So I think
Yeah.
there's an obvious step towards investing in skincare brands because these big brands are seeing the consumer habits.
Well, and to piggyback on what you were talking about, like in the comment that was talking about like who they are collabing with, I think a lot of brands need to pay
Yes.
significantly more attention to who they are collabing with. I'm not going to say like, oh, everybody hates Kim Kardashian, but there's a large population of people who do not like the Kardashians for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a Black person, you have reasons to dislike them. You have reasons to be like their standard of beauty is made up. Like there's a lot of Photoshop going on there. We all saw well, a lot of us saw Robert Welsh do a reaction, and it was weird. Like I thought I was the only person who noticed it, but like literally talking about using a concealer product and like they already had on makeup. It was fucking weird. So
Yeah.
they're collabing with people that aren't likable. It's the same thing when we saw Elf with Jalopity Staircase, and we're just like, what has happened? Like what? And it feels like what happens is like these brands have like old. I'm gonna say it. They have old white men looking at it. They don't have people who are actually paying attention to
Also
what's going on.
old white women, because
Yeah.
older white women would look at Chrissy Teigen and see, like Chrissy Teigen, I felt like it didn't totally make sense, but I understood it from a sales perspective. And I think the same with the Kardashians in that I think it's two extremes. There's the hate and there's the love. And they decided to bet on the power of the Kardashians from 4 or 5 years ago, in
Yes.
my opinion, versus right now or whenever that release. So yeah. Also, hey Shalar, welcome. And Elf did not collab with them, but just they continue to send him PR. And he
Correct.
did a whole video recently about the Mint collection.
Yes.
So I people were reacting about that. So
Yeah, and like that exactly, Yolanda. The people at these brands don't care about makeup. And that's
yeah.
really where things get like where it gets shitty because you begin to realize like these people don't care about makeup and they don't think about the amount of people who would be upset. And yes, the Kardashians do still have a strong stand base, but with what happened recently, them like going on vacation, having parties, doing the things that they did, a lot of people weren't like even their stands weren't necessarily feeling it. They were like, I mean, I know, like, but like, and they still wanted to be like with them. But nothing happened with Ofra.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, nothing happened with Ofra. I am asking, like somebody was saying they wanted to try it. I asked them to DM me because
Yeah.
they looked about my tone, and I have a couple that I don't normally do this, by the way. I asked
But
that specific
also
person.
there was also a comment about we feel like Oprah killed Becca, and I agree with that.
That's true.
Like
Because
in a lot of
Ofra,
ways.
like I feel like there was like an evolution of highlight, right? It
Yes.
it started with like have some highlighter and be like, oh, and then it went into like blind motherfuckers. Like it just
Yeah.
went into this like next level. Like everybody needs to be blinded by a highlight, which I still live by. Like fuck you if you can't see if
You
you
know
look at
what?
me in the
That
sun.
yeah, there was this okay, there was all matte. So skin was all matte. And then we like started
Dry
getting
it out, bitch.
like like subtle amounts of highlight. And then we got to this point where we were still all matte, but then we had stripes of blinding highlight. And then there's been this evolution to like more satin skin and still the blinding highlights. And then there are the all dewy girls or the all dewy people. Like I think that's the other part that killed the Becca style highlighters. When you look at like the kind of makeup that Samantha Ravindall and that whole Jamie Page and all of that kind of
Rachel
era,
Defee.
where even Rachel Defee's more extreme, but like where they want everything to be dewy and glowy, but maybe not blinding. And so I felt like also because Becca was kind of I know they've had that cream formula, but anyway, I feel like there was that group, and then it's like there's the indie highlighter people now that were like blinding, multi-chrome, duochrome, like so like I just feel like
It's like,
the
look,
market has like varied, and I don't think people are keeping up with it. But yeah, there's like the
Ritual
people.
Defee started doing like a cream highlighter that you could build and make it blinding, but like
Yeah,
from this angle, you wouldn't know. Like you would just see that I'm glowing, right? But then it
yeah.
hits the light, and you'd be like, "Damn, girl!" See, and
Even
that
the
was the
Vanessa,
change.
the Duet Bomb,
Ooh, let me
the
put that on top of
the kind of
this.
like gloss sticks, like the kind of I have these I've never actually I need to play with more. I keep forgetting I have them. Wait. That's
I'm
like
putting this on top.
these like dewy stick things that are basically just like a balm or whatever. So there's
See,
like
that
I
is like actually wow. If you put Danessa Myricks on top of Ritual
yeah.
Defee, holy shit, you get like the light, like you get like a nice, beautiful glow, but it gives it like that natural shit if you into it. Yo,
And see, and then there are
new
people
level
like
unlocked.
Shalar that said, "Am I the only one who's gradually stopped using highlighters?" Not me. I fucking love them, and I still
I love
do
highlighter.
super blinding highlights. But I
Yes.
also layer it and kind of will do softer glow in more spots on my face, and then more intense. And but like I
Also,
think
Shalar,
that's
you're young. When you're old like me, older, resident little bitch of YouTube, you got to be like, boom, I still exist. So.
I just love it. Like, well, also this was interesting. So Chelsea says my oily skin shines like a diamond. Highlight is hard for me. It was funny because somebody that I one of the like somebody that I follow on Instagram was talking about how like their skin naturally get and truly because they showed pictures gets about as glowy as what you've seen with the Auric Glow Lust or
Mhm.
the Charlotte Tilbury one or whatever with like 4 hours of like they put their makeup on, not heavy foundation, but like and then their skin naturally gets to that level of glow. And it really did. And I was like, yeah, see, everyone is different. Everyone like everyone's skin is different, and I think everyone just like does, prefers a different level of glow as well.
Also,
Um
Chelsea, like if that is you in the photo, what I'm going to tell you is don't look for highlight placement from skinny bitches when you have a rounder face. Their placement is not going to be the same.
yeah.
I'm going to say this. If you are a gorgeous, beautiful, white, fat babe, Latina fat babe, I'm going to need you to direct your attention to other fat babes and or black babes. They will show you a good placement because our cheekbones are in about the same place. And
Yeah.
then you will look fantastic and phenomenal. Don't listen to these skinny bitches who are like, I just put it right here and it's fantastic. You know why? They don't have any fucking cheekbones. Their cheekbones aren't where yours are, and their cheek fat isn't where your cheek fat is. And therefore, you do that and you have a weird stripe on your face and you look like a fucking weirdo. And you're embarrassed all day that you did this, all day. And every time you look at it, you're like, why did I listen to this skinny bitch? Go elsewhere.
Yeah.
We got you.
It's literally, we were talking about this yesterday. So yesterday we didn't stream. We did film a podcast, so we'll release that. But we were talking for like an hour before we got to the podcast and talking about highlighter and placement and how I was like, yeah, I used to just put it right here. Where you see I did put an intense highlighter there. But I put on my glasses and then like it's there, but it's not. Like it is, but it isn't. And then I just gradually started like growing and growing, and I bring it down onto the apples of my cheek, and I bring it up here, and then I'll intensify sometimes like right there. But I've just been like, yeah, you just can't look at. This is like a pet peeve of mine. You cannot look at a dozen creators or influencers that are all very genetically similar and make makeup choices based on them,
Yes.
because you are oftentimes not that same kind of person. Like I feel like Tia asked, so where do we put highlighter? Well, I was just
So
describing,
I have mine and I like blend it into. I actually use a kind of blender like form, like maneuver with my hand when I'm placing highlighter on my face. And I get like right down to the top of my cheekbone. Why? Because head on, you're not going to see highlight. And then when I turn, it's not just a stripe. You can see that it like actually kind of melds in. Especially as I move my head, and by
yeah,
doing that kind of maneuver, it's like blending it down further into like the blush and the bronzer. So it's like kind of a part of my face, right? But the placement there for me helps to keep my cheekbones higher. It stops dropping my face. And it's giving me the light that these people were having, being like, boop, right there, because that's all they have. Like, that's the
yeah,
thing is like people whose faces, if you don't have high cheekbones, if you don't have cheek fat, this is a great placement. It's going to look
yeah,
amazing. But if you have cheek fat or high cheekbones, that's not where the fuck you like. You have, I will tell you this every time, take your bare ass face. And Emily knows that this placement makes sense on my face because she
well,
has
because
seen me
well,
in
even
like,
right now, when you're turning and the light is shining on you, it doesn't have to just be sunlight. It can just be
yeah,
one source of light. If you have like a just a like a lamp, like I wouldn't say ring light,
yes,
but like a lamp, like where you have one source of light, and you can look at your face. You were going to say this, but look at your face in different angles and see where the light actually hits it. Light
yes.
hits right here. This is the
Mm-hmm.
furthest part out of my face, and I like that. It keeps it honestly, like I like it. I just like it. And so I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna highlight here. I'm gonna highlight the fucking tip of my nose because this
some of
bitch is
it.
out here. Like I'm gonna highlight here because the way my face is shaped, light hits here. I'm
Yes,
also gonna highlight here because it hits there, but it's a lot more. I'm just a lot more generous with my highlighter, to be honest,
yeah.
than when I first started. And sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
better if you're trying that out to use a more sheer, less intense highlighter. If you're oily or if you're afraid of intense glow or whatever, fan brushes are actually decent for blush, is what I found recently.
And bronzer. Like if you have a
Yeah.
thick fan brush,
And if
great
you
for
have a
bronzer. But
Yeah.
don't use that bitch to try to put on high. I don't know who started that lie, who started that rumor. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh.
sorry, that's my keyboard. I don't know who started that lie. They were like, oh, fan brushes for your highlighter. Here's the problem with, especially like the smaller fan brush, right?
Yeah.
Here it is. So if you were to put highlighter on this part of it, okay, and then you're trying to like gently apply it, do you not like see the problem with
Yeah.
like literally to get it to the smartest thing, like the only way I could get it to work was to put it on the edge and then kind of brush it
It's
like
just
using the edge.
awkward though.
And that's a very awkward maneuver. I don't know who started this. They just wanted to make a new brush. Listen, they just wanted to
But
unlock a new level, and that level is not good for highlighter. But go ahead.
but if you have a thinner one, not a thicker fan brush, but a thinner one, this is actually a nice shape because like you have that roundness and you can sweep it, or you can sweep it down this way, or like I've started like I like blushing my nose, but especially like across here. I guess it's like that sunburn look. But yeah, and then for highlighter, I really like this kind of shape, which is like a slight flare because it's more of a buffing motion that I do with it. But I know you like these bigger. This is more of a blush brush for me.
Yeah,
Again,
I
but
love these because like I said, my application, so my camera's moved since I dropped
I
it
love
like a
makeup
moron.
talk, by the way. I love this
Since
makeup talk.
I honestly apply in like this kind of circular brush motion where I'm like boop, 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 boop. Because like if you want to get like that C, I find that trying to make the C doesn't work, and you end up with like this weird highlighter like weird situation where you just have like this block of highlighter that's all through here and then like a little bit of highlighter here. So for me, I found that when I kind of do this like motion where I'm going like this and then just kind of gently moving it around my head like that, I end up with the C, and it's not too intense here because I actually don't want it to be super intense here. That's the
Yeah.
thing for me and my C. I hit like the light catches me here, but I don't want it to be like really, really intense right here. I want it to be
Yeah.
more intense in these areas because this is where when I'm wearing no makeup, this is where the sun and like light in general just says, hey. So like I like to do that. I do like to use my fingers for highlighter if I'm using like a cream highlighter. It depends on what highlighter I'm using, but I'm very careful. Like I think you use what makes you happy, right? I don't love this idea that, and Emily and I have talked about this before. I don't like this idea of people telling you what the fuck a brush is for. It just irritates me. Like I get it. There's crease brushes. If that's not how you want to use it, don't use it like that. Because I use my brushes however the hell I want to. I don't like to feel constrained in like, oh, I have to use this brush for this thing because that's what it's a. Like if that brush doesn't work for your crease, then don't use it. You know, if this tiny brush works better for you to use under here, then use that. Don't feel like you have to use a brush this size because you saw somebody. You don't think about the size of other people's faces and how big this area is and how intense that they want it to be. If you wanted yours to not be that intense, you might want to use something like this. You know, so like don't,
like a lot of people like using a brush like this for a highlighter. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. Like sometimes it just doesn't pick up enough for me. And like I want to like buff it in, and I feel like sometimes I can't do that with like I love this kind of shape for like under the eye or things like that. But the one thing, like, so Audra and I have talked about off camera how like there is a tendency for people to tell creators in particular, oh, you should do your makeup this way, particularly because like, oh, Robert Welsh recommends it, or some other male beauty person recommends this. The thing that I think that gets frustrating with that is that, well, okay,
let me just say, I actually love Robert. And if you watch Robert's channel and watch Robert's beauty videos, he is always saying like, he's very positive, and he's always saying like, this is something that like there is a theory to makeup, and it doesn't mean you have to do it this way, right? Just giving you the idea and like showing you where placement can be done better and how you can do these kinds of things. Absolutely, like dear person, kind, and actually really funny. And I make fun of him for like his button up. Like, nobody look at my neck. So like that's
And Rebecca,
that's
I'm
my
so sorry.
impersonation.
I
Nobody look
wasn't
at my
trying to
neck.
make you feel bad. What I wanted to actually give a compliment of Robert is the one that is somebody that reminded me, look at your face, look at lighting. The comment I just made about
Yes.
look at your face in the lighting to figure out highlight placement or possibly contour placement is huge. So I meant no ill will towards your new comment. I'm very
Oh no, I know.
sorry if that
You
no, but
didn't. You
like
didn't.
no, but like I didn't mean to make you feel bad, even though it was even if you were joking. I just wanted to say that. But I also, it's not like, oh, go watch Robert. That's a great comment or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's there have been issues where it's like, oh, you should apply this way because he said this, and it's
Yes.
like, okay, but I, I am happy with my placement.
Rebecca,
Like,
don't
and
feel
thank you,
bad.
Rebecca.
BT dubs.
Yes, I'm also a
What
little
this
drunk.
was in reference to, it like both of us ADHD. So
Yes.
seeing Robert Welsh reminded Emily of the conversation that we had where we were like, listen, things are about to get, listen, grab a drink. I need y'all to grab a drink because I'm about to get like not humble.
You don't have to say this on camera if you don't want to, because I know you said you're like, I don't want to be that person.
Listen, here's what I'm gonna say. What the reason we even said anything is because we were having this conversation, which you did not do, Rebecca. You literally just reminded us, and you are a wonderful, wonderful person. Also, I love the name Rebecca the Lush because it like gives me so much fucking joy.
So good.
I am
so
also
good.
Audra the Lush. Audra at home, lushing. But what we were actually talking about is that we had this conversation and we were talking about how rude it is because like Slumber was talking about this. Like if y'all watch Slumber Reads, who's talking about it on Twitter, there's a lot of creators, and James has said this as well, where people will come underneath the comments and then tell you, like Slumber Reads was saying how many people were underneath and saying like other narrators that people should listen to that are better than him. And then it's like started this thread. And like some of the people they were naming were his friends. And he's like, do y'all know I read this? And so we talked about that in the sense of how many people come up and go, oh, if you want to know how to put your concealer on better, or, you should put your concealer on this way. Robert Welsh says so. And you're like, and where I lost my humbleness was I was like, please don't put comments like that under my videos.
Yeah.
And this is where the humbleness is going to go. And I need you to be prepared because I'm not about to be a humble bitch. What I would say is don't put that under there because I fucking know Robert. And if I wanted to talk to Robert and say, Robert, how the fuck do I do my makeup? I would say, Robert, how the fuck do I do my makeup? If I needed help with a blemish that was going back, I would, James, how the fuck do I do this? If I needed help with how to fucking do my camera, Abby Williamson, how the fuck do I do my camera? There are fucking people that you don't necessarily know that I know, not like super know, but I know them well enough to DM them for fucking help. You telling any creator, any underneath them, in their comments, who in the fuck that they should talk to about the rude, one, and two, act like we don't know people. Just because everybody isn't out in these streets behaving like the old school YouTubers, like name dropping every 5 fucking seconds to say who the fuck they know in the community, doesn't mean they don't know people.
Yeah.
You have to understand that, like, my friendships in general, I keep a lot of those private. The people that I talk to in the YouTube community outside of doing a video, I'm not telling everybody that. One, because like it's not even about, oh, I'm gonna make it on my own merit. It's because like my friendship is more important than fucking dropping their name every 5 seconds. It's important for me that they realize, especially in these YouTube streets, that I care about them as a person, not what they can do for me. If they thought for 1 second that I cared more about what they could do for me, I'm like getting teared up because it would really hurt my feelings that they thought that I was using them. So my friendships with them are more important. My friendships and how they treat me and how they've reached out to me and how they try to like be like, hey, I'm so sorry you're going through all this shit. I wish I could do something, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just sitting here like, no, like you're across the fucking world. Like, I don't know what you could do. So the fact that people just don't understand that there are people in YouTube who literally aren't trying to get shit by having famous friends. It does nothing for me. Like, it doesn't,
Yeah.
like, I don't want any of the people that I communicate with, that I DM, ask questions to, because first of all, my ADHD has me just dropping off the face of the earth. I've sent questions to Abby and like been like, hey, so how do I do this thing? And then they tell me, and I'm like, oh, okay, like da da da. And I talk for a little bit, and they say something back, I'm fucking gone. They have no idea, and I have no idea.
I do
They're
that
probably just
with
there.
friends that I've known for a decade or 15 years, and I
Yeah.
love with all my heart and soul. And it's still like 2 weeks later, I'm like, "Hi, I'm sorry." Like,
Mhm.
and also not even
That's
in
why
the
if you know me,
friendship.
like when I started fucking DM with like, hi, how are you doing? I hope you are well. That is literally me trying to be a human, okay? Like I don't know how to human. I started off that way because I understand that the etiquette is for me to not immediately ask for a thing. So I
Yeah,
have to use this is again, I was supposed to get an, an assessment for autism, haven't been able to do it. I understand the etiquette. I hate it and I have to do it. Really, what I want to do with a lot of people is just be like, I have a question,
yeah,
answer question. But I understand etiquette requires that I'm supposed to ask you how you are doing and see it, and then like have small talk
yeah,
and then ask the question. If if I knew some of these people like significantly better, it would be make my life so much easier. And I feel
yeah,
uncomfortable a lot of times just saying like, hey, so listen, I have this problem where I don't understand like why we have to do this. And it's very hard for me. It's extremely difficult. And now I have to do this thing and I'm stressed. And I just really want to ask you a question, but I can't ask you a question because I understand the etiquette is I have to pretend.
But wait. If there are people that I'm not saying that everyone's going to be like this, but there are people that you have talked to more than you realize you have that get that.
I know.
Audra, they
I
get it.
know. But I feel so
Also,
awkward like trying to like tell people. Like I only got to a point in my life where I could finally just tell people like I'm touch averse. Don't fucking touch me, please. Thank you. I
but
don't
you
want to shake
don't have
hands. I
to
don't want to
tell
hug.
them that. But this is what I'm saying is that there are people that know you, that watch your videos, that interact with you, that have conversations with you, that get it because you have talked about it. You have made the decision to be vulnerable on the internet about who you are and what you struggle with and what you don't struggle with and what you like and what you don't like. And so I think that sometimes we forget, and I know that it's a protective move because you're
Yeah.
like, I just need to do the small talk so I make sure I don't offend anybody, whatever. But I think there's also a forgetfulness that okay, this isn't true all the time, but the friends that we make through the internet, that we optionally choose to have in our life, are different, are a different
Mhm.
kind of friend, in my opinion, than the ones that we get forced into having because they're coworkers or they're this or they're that. So that's why I'm like, yes, the first 3 months or so of a friendship, perhaps. But after a while, my honest truth is if they don't understand that, they're not worth your fucking time. And you're
See,
not being
I'm getting like
rude.
weepy because
And
it
you're
just
not
like I
being
get so
rude.
stressed trying to
That's what I'm
communicate with
saying.
people.
You're
It
you're
stresses me out.
stressing.
Like
You are
the
putting
entire
yourself through
act
pain.
of like having to like figure out how to properly communicate with another person, especially through like DM. I'm just like, hello, how are you today? I hope you are doing well.
But
Like, I
like
love that. Yes, like we are so
yeah.
personal, but I've never ever seen your kneecaps. Like, I don't like it's so stressful, like every time. And here's the thing there's so many people who are there for me and like answer my questions at any point in time. But I think I have difficulty sometimes. And I think one of the things that I'm working towards this year is learning to just say up front, like, I am not good at small talk. Like when I like when somebody like whenever I send people that, I just want to be like, I don't understand small
This is
talk.
what I
It's
was gonna
really very
say.
difficult for me. I'm forcing myself to do this, and that stresses me out more than just the question I want to ask. Like, I'm already stressed asking you the question, but now that I'm stressed about having to like perform humanness, like, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, hello, how are you? I hope you are well.
But this is what I'm saying. I
How
don't
is
think you
your
have to
move
do
going?
that. I don't think you have to do that, especially if you get close and you're like, hey, small talk is painful for me. It's mentally and physically painful. If I pop up in your life and I don't instantly go into small talk, I still appreciate you and care about you and want to hear about your life. But for me to do that is a lot of stress. Is that something that you're good with? Are you okay with that? And even physically putting it in writing, putting it in a DM, putting it in a text message. So, one, you have it to look back at, and two, they have it in their life. And then you can say, okay, cool, great. I'm going to do the thing I do where I'm going to pop up with a random question and we're not going to have to worry about small talk. Like, I just think that
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with asking a question and putting this like request out there for just to say this is how I work. Does that work
Yeah.
for you? If it doesn't work for you, we can find a compromise. But if that's okay with you, cool, great, awesome. I
Because like my
also
life is in movie references, or like my life is in media references, right? So it's like whenever I encounter a new person and they start trying to like converse with me, right? And they're like, "How are you?" And I'm like, "Danger, danger, Will Robinson, danger!" Like that is because I'm like, I can't tell the truth about how I am. I have to make up a thing. Humans make up things. You say, I'm good. I'm good.
we
Good. I'm
literally
good.
fight against this every week. Every live stream we do, we talk about how we want this to go away. That's why I'm over here being but again, I get it as a protective measure, but I'm like, but the people that get you, and those that don't literally don't deserve your time and energy, no
Well,
matter
yeah, and
how
like
amazing they seem.
if I'm going to be completely honest, I started making some TikToks about being neurodivergent, whatever. But here's the thing: because of television and media portrayal of autism, I didn't feel like there was no. I felt like there was no reason for me to get tested because it was like they're savants, and I'm like, I'm not a savant. Like I'm not that fucking smart. Like I'm smart, but like I don't do anything intensely. Like I'm like what? Like so because the images that we are shown, and this is why like so many people are fighting for like true representation, because we're constantly shown images of people who like can't really like interact in the human world, and they're struggling so fucking hard, and like they're super duper smart and have like a fixation on this thing, or they're like house, or they're like the good doctor, or they're
Yeah.
Rain Man. This is what we're presented with, right? And yet when you see the like large variance of people who have autism who don't fit any of those realms, and yes, those people do exist, right? But you see this large spectrum of people who don't fit that. And then you start realizing like, wait, so I can potentially be autistic and not have these things.
Yeah.
What? Like, so it's just like, it kind of fucks up your brain because you've spent your life understanding that like being autistic was somebody who was very disruptive. It was being disruptive, being unable to handle things, throwing fits, which I still throw fits. I don't care. Like it's a fact. I would love to say that I don't, but I do.
But
But
there's a
like,
difference between like there's a reality of throwing fits and then there is these caricatures. And I agree with Thorne that in the reality, autistic people are just regular folks for the most part versus the
yes.
savants that are portrayed. Also, fuck Sia, don't watch that movie. I'm not gonna get started on that.
Yeah, because
As
like I
somebody
just
that actually loved them as an artist for like a decade, no, no.
I know. I love.
Like
Oh,
saw them in concert, like still having a weird like a emotional connection, but like
Chandelier was my
Yeah.
party girl, don't get her. Like that was my thing, and then like
Yeah.
they ruined it.
Yeah.
Are
So
they
anyway,
Australian?
yes.
Like they are. Okay, that's why. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm no hate towards Australians. I like Australia because it's a very interesting and strange country.
Yeah.
Also, I want to live there because you all have toilet spiders, and I'm about that life. Like a big fucking spider. Like one chick named her a spider,
Yeah.
and
I don't
then
think it's just one person. I think it's
she named
probably
it.
a thing.
And but here was the thing: she named it because like she was like, listen, I think it was like Earl or something,
Yeah.
and because it keeps out like all the other like deadly
Yeah.
ass shit. Like, and I'm for that. I can't. I have conversations. I had a shower spider for a while.
You
We
did.
talked.
Yeah.
We talked.
So I also, this is kind of like a while back, but the conversation that got into friendships with YouTubers, I, the idea without even the friendships attached, the idea, because I have this in my brain because I didn't see the live today, but I know that there was that Samantha Ravindall went live today, and she was talking about the Becca thing, but then also talking about, I think either somebody in the live chat or related, like basically people will be like, oh, have you tried this for your skin? Have you watched this creator for your
Mhm.
skin? Have you Rocio Cervantes, who's like the queen of the rainbows, gets this too, where
Gorgeous looks.
whether it's skin or this or that. And I'm not saying anyone in this chat does this, but people will come into comments, into lives, and be like, I observed something that I consider a flaw. Hey, have you watched this person for this flaw? Have you tried this? And for some of
And
us,
no one
it's not a
asked.
flaw. Yeah, either
No one asked.
if it's something we've struggled with a long time, we might be having a good day and didn't even perceive it as a flaw in that day, which is a fucking win. And for
Thank you.
others, where we're just like, I didn't I didn't ask you. Like,
And that's the
so
thing. If I put out a call to action, that's one thing.
different. Yes.
But like, please, not just me, but all creators.
Yeah.
As much as you may think you are helping someone, please know a couple of things. Number one, if they have acne, they fucking know they have acne.
Yeah.
They
Oh, and it's not
know
just
they have
creators, it's anyone on the
acne.
internet. It's
Anyone
anyone
on the
you stumble
internet.
across on Instagram or YouTube or whatever. Anyway,
Stumble
yes.
across on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, they know they have acne. They're already getting treated. Thank you. Stop giving them information. Like
Yeah.
fucking stop. Like they know. They
Yeah.
know that. Like that's the thing. I know. Like for instance, I have this like thing on like one of my eyes. I outie moles. They're
Yeah.
part of my family's lineage. They're part of it.
Yeah.
I'm getting some of them. My grandfather, my grandpa had a lot of outie moles, and also like some of them were like brown or black moles. Some of
Yeah.
them are clear. I know that I'm getting them. No, I'm not gonna have them frozen off. First of all, bitch doesn't have the money for that.
Yeah.
Second, I don't care. Like it's not
Yeah.
taking away from the look. If you're really losing your shit because like there's like a dot, like I don't know what to tell you. Go
Yeah.
elsewhere. I understand OCD is a thing. Don't watch me then. Don't watch
Yeah.
me. Like don't look at my face because all first of all, it's not symmetrical. These two sides do
Yeah.
look this wing versus this wing are two different things. Like see how this one's connected? And then like this one's not? Exactly. Because they're two different shaped eyes. And I learned how to do my wings for each eye. For each
Exactly.
eye so that they look the same head on, but they are not the same like this.
And so, and
Okay.
for me, like when I do wings, they still don't even look the same head on. I don't fucking care. I mean, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. But I don't specifically oh maybe it is Rocio Cejas, not Sorrento. I get the Rocios confused. I'm sorry. I just call it Rainbow Rocio, basically.
Oh, it is
Yeah,
Tejas, yes.
yes. Rocio Cervantes is the owner of Midas, I believe. But and like with the concealer thing, like sometimes people want to put a fuck ton of concealer on. I don't care about that minimalist concealer, application sometimes. Sometimes I
Yeah.
do it. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I want heavier coverage foundation. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I want a highlight that looks like a stripe of glitter. Sometimes I want it to look like it melds into my skin a bit more. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I put on fake freckles and they don't look and they look I mean and they look fake as fuck. They look really fake. And guess what? I don't care. I'm just playing around with makeup. And like
Yeah,
uh
please stop coming into people's comments
ugh,
telling them to drink
yeah.
water and eat asparagus. Like, what the fuck? Like, you don't know people's lives. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. They didn't ask you. They're already, especially, listen, I'm going to tell you this. If someone has over 100,000 YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever social media subscribers, they have someone helping them with their skin. They don't need your help.
And
Like
also,
they
but also if they're a smaller account, they
they
probably don't have
don't
the money for
need
your fancy ass recommendations.
your help.
Like I just
America, and you don't have insurance, and even if you have a job with insurance, it's not going to cover
yeah.
dermatology.
I think just generally giving unsolicited advice because there are going to be times like I might talk about something in a video or do a post on Instagram or in my community tab where I'm like recommend something or try this or show me the other application methods or whatever where I'm asking for video ideas basically. I'm farming out for ideas for things we
Yeah.
want to see. But unless that's a specific request, this unsolicited advice, unsolicited technique, like recommendations, it can be frustrating because I'm not saying that I keep up with all beauty creators, but I watch a lot. I look at Instagram a lot. I look at TikTok a lot. Like I'm always open to seeing new people and new things. That I'm not against, but I also don't need you to just be like, you need to do this person's technique instead of what you're doing right now. It's like, I'm
And in
good.
response to Thorn, I have a mole
Oh,
right
you've said that
here.
story, right?
Yeah, clip that bitch off. I thought it was a zit. It's fine. Like now. Don't clip off your moles, BT dubs. Apparently,
No.
according to my mother, mama at home, you can bleed to death. I don't know.
I
Lessons
I
learned.
I have
And
one on
then,
my neck that I've had for like since I was pretty young, like
mhm.
pretty young. I've wanted to like for decades. Like I just sometimes I'm like, I just want it gone. And then I'm like, no, no.
And Shalar, I don't ever contour my nose. You
Yeah,
know why? Because I refuse to conform to the European standards of beauty with a skinny, straight nose. I am black.
yeah,
I don't have a skinny nose. Also, a lot of black people don't have a bridge. Glasses are hard for us. Leave us
yeah.
the fuck alone when they're like sliding down our faces because like nothing will hold on when you don't have. Look at side profile. There ain't a lot of shit here. There's
That's
not a
true.
lot.
Where comparatively, like
Yeah.
I have a it's funny now that I think about my nose. I'm like, I put a highlight and blush all over my nose. I do the opposite of contour. I'm like, shiny Rudolph nose? Yes. Like not just highlighter nose, Rudolph nose, like blush and highlighter. Okay, yeah, we're gonna do that.
Yeah, here's it. I
Yeah,
refuse. I absolutely refuse to contour my nose because honestly, like first of all, this nose fits my face. If I
it
contour my
does.
nose, then it means that I have to contour the rest of my face. And why am I contouring my face? Like as
I
a
can't
black
even imagine
person,
how to contour your
why in the
nose.
fuck am I can't contour? Like I am not contouring my face for any other reason than white standards of beauty. Period. I am not contouring my face to be like, oh, like I just want to tuck it. No,
Yeah,
no. And I know this because I have seen glorious, glorious, fat, black people not contour the fuck out of their face. And I'm like, oh, oh, I see. So they're just like, so you just gonna like yourself. Well, I should try that too. I'm gonna try that too. And that's
I
what I
love
did.
that.
And this is why
Yeah.
like I'm a fat advocate. I'm like, yes, because my self-confidence today is because of fat people. My self-confidence that I have is because of fat people. Because fat people were like, why the fuck are you sitting there being shitty to yourself when you are gorgeous, when you are beautiful? Stop doing this. Stop doing this. Make yourself happy. And I was like, yes, I will do this. And I did it.
Okay, Audra is saying like this is why fat liberation is exists, not body positivity, fat
Mm-hmm.
liberation. This
Mm-hmm.
is a topic probably for my own channel, but like this is why it exists. It's not just for fat people; it's for
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah. Because
So
if it was not for fat people just being out there doing their thing, slaying the game, and really just saying like I don't have to hide because I am fat, then I would not have been like I don't have to contour my nose. Like I can just have my nose be this. I don't have to contour my face. Like why do I want to look like a sharp duck? I get that people do. I get it. Like if you want to look like a sharp duck, you do you. But I was like, why do I want to look so sharp? Because my cheekbones are so high. And I was like,
yeah,
when I was doing like contour, like, listen, my face could cut a bitch. And while that is like artistically, aesthetically pleasing,
yeah,
in real life, I did not like it.
yeah. I think it would be fun to like mess around with, like particularly with your face, like doing some weird like color contouring, like deep
Oh, yes.
tones or like some
Listen, I'm
weird
already
like
on my
Bowie
way.
shit.
I am
Like
already like
like
on
I
my
don't
way.
know. Like I just
You saw that
also
butterfly ass look I did where I was just like, I'm just going to
this
pull this shit the
just
fuck down.
made my heart like okay. Oh sorry, I'm having a moment. I'm very glad you're here, Thorn. I'm very glad you're here. Just in many, many ways. Um
Fat girls rule the world. Yes, Chelsea. Like,
yes.
I just, I feel like if it weren't for and see, here's the thing, Shalar, I feel like that is a horrible experience that you have like that you had because
Yeah.
I didn't like I had some experience with a couple of people who were fat being mean, but I also had to stop and think about like why the fuck they were mean. And then I just befriended them. Like I talked about this, I feel like the last stream we did, but like somebody
Mm-hmm.
whose name was Car, and everybody just started calling her Care Bear, because I believe she was of African descent, very like deep skin tone, and also was growing facial hair. You have to realize that like a lot of fat people have been fat their entire lives. And it didn't just happen. They've been fat their entire lives. They were fat babies, fat toddlers, fat elementary school. Like they've lived their lives being fat. And they've also lived with not only the outside world telling them that they're fat, but their families telling them they're fat and doing everything they can to try to like remove the fatness.
And it's not just that telling them they're fat, it's telling them to hate themselves. The
Yes.
point is that they're telling, because this is as somebody that was fat from a
You know, you speak
baby.
on it. I don't
Yeah.
overspeak you.
Oh no, you're good. You were going right in the direction I was going to say. It's internal self-hatred, internal fat phobia, but in particular internal self-hatred turned out onto the world. It doesn't
Yes.
make it right, but when that's a constant struggle, when you're basically constantly being told that you don't deserve to dress in a way that you're happy about, to feel good about yourself, you like there's a range of, in my opinion, emotional abuse that gets put on fat people and fat children. And yes, a lot of people think that fat people shouldn't exist, fat
Yeah.
children too. So I'm not saying it's right, but um it just there is a lot that fat people have to deal with in terms of like looking outward, because also you see people that are smaller than you get treated better, get treated differently, And especially when you're younger, I feel like you are trying to figure out why that's true. And the only thing you can think is because they are not fat. And so then you have this like anger towards yourself and other people.
Yeah.
So,
And I had to
um,
like I had to take a moment, which we ended up becoming friends.
yeah,
But military is as the military does, and they were transferred elsewhere. But like we ended up becoming friends because I had to take a moment and be like, why are they so mean to me? And I was like, I am a tall, skinny bitch,
yeah,
and I make friends easily. Like it's easy for people to like want to hang out with me. I get invited to things. It's very difficult for this person to get that same thing. If they're new anywhere that they go and they're a military kid, anywhere that they go, they know what they're going to face. So what they have done is developed a protective layer. And that protective layer is being mean and spiteful and shitty, because in that way they don't have to worry about letting anyone in, and they don't have to worry about getting bullied, because a lot of times, guarantee you, a lot of fat people let someone in, and that person who they let in was really only coming in to like play some kind of awful prank on them. It's
yeah,
not just Carrie and like fucking movie bullshit. This shit happens. So like you learn to develop a wall and develop an absolute distrust and treat everybody like shit and be mean as fuck to them, because you understand that, like, listen, I am fat. And I know that the last time I trusted somebody, they took my trust, they used it, they embarrassed me. I'm not doing it again. And it took a while for Kara to like realize that I wasn't gonna do that. I was like, I don't give a
yeah,
fuck. Like, we can be friends. You don't have to be mean to me.
yeah,
You don't have to be. I don't care. Like, if you want to be mean to me and that makes you feel better, I don't give a shit. I will take it because I understand the world has given you shit. So the least I can do is at least be your fucking friend, even if you don't want to be my friend. I can at least be the punching bag you deserve, because it's not going to bother me. That's the thing. It's not going to bother me, because
yeah,
anything that they had to say to me was not going to be anything that was hurtful. Like, there's not a lot that honestly people can say that will hurt me, because I'm
yeah,
just not built like that. And I look at it, I'm like, these are words that you have said to try to break me down, but I know that that's not true. So do you? And so I feel like we spend an enormous amount of time trying to like paint people and say like, well, they were mean to me, or I'm, like you were saying, I'm not even skinny. But there's also, Emily and I have talked about this, a push in the plus size fat community where there's a very specific shape
yeah,
that is allowed to be shown in the media as okay and pretty. Even Drop Dead Diva, which is one of my favorite shows of all time,
yeah.
still had a very particular shape, like the hourglass pear. Like, as long as you like do some kind of this, but if you don't have a shape, baby, no.
But especially if you're taller, because if you're
Mm-hmm.
taller, basically they can get away with taller, but actually, like visually, you tend to look less fat. Like an actor that's 200 pounds and 5'10" looks very different than an actor that's 200 pounds and 5'2", and that's not even like. And I'm
Yeah,
sorry, Shar, that you're even in that
I
space.
know.
In
I
terms of
can kind of
giving up
help you
on
on how to get out of
people.
that, but it's
Yeah.
confessions of a slightly agoraphobic and how to slide the fuck out of it. Next live.
Yeah, yeah, we could definitely talk about it. And I just think that it's very complicated, and there's definitely a lot of terrible, toxic people out in the world, and people that will take advantage of you and treat you terribly. But I don't know. There's also a lot of amazing people, and I oh, and
Yeah,
that's
here's the thing,
amazing.
Jerry. If they had told me in school when I was doing math that math was about problem solving, like when you got into like algebra and all that shit, if they just said
Yes.
it's about problem solving, I would have been like, oh, okay, I like to solve problems. And I would have been good at math. But they could never, like, every time you were like, what the fuck do I use this for? They're like, math is used in like all aspects of the life. And I was like, that's not helping me.
Yeah.
As it stands now, I am doing the fun thing of trying to find a job, which I know is going to be difficult because with all of the neurodivergency I have going on, I only like to do things I'm interested in. And that makes it very difficult for me to like, okay, a job. And it also makes it difficult because I don't give a fuck about talking to the people I work with. I'm like, no, I don't want to talk to you. Thank you. They're like, you want to go to happy hour? I'm like, oh, I can't hear you. I'm so deaf. I can't. Oh, I cannot hear you. They're like, do you want to go to? Oh, I have my earphones in. I can't hear you. They sent me an email. We sent you an email. Do you want to go to have? Oh, my computer doesn't work. Like I spend all this time avoiding these people. It doesn't work out. Because I don't like proximity, and I very much like to keep work separate from fun. And I feel like whenever I have ever tried to like, oh, we're work friends, and then we'll go do, we end up talking about work, and I don't want to. My fun time is my fun time, and so like I don't like
That's
the
the
idea that
worst. And I've fallen into that trap a lot where like you go to like happy hour and it's just bitching about work the
yes,
whole
I hate it.
time. And by the
Set
end
me
of
on
it,
fire.
I'm like,
Set me
wow.
on
So
fire,
instead of
please.
working 10 hours today, I worked 12 hours because I spent 2 hours at happy hour bitching about, and it's not even like friends where I can really be myself and let it out. It's that weird, like, the meh you do with coworkers. That's just different. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't like it. Like I tried to come in and just like do my job and like be like, and then everybody around me wants to talk, and I'm like, I really don't have time for this. But like, what the fuck do you want? They're like, oh, I got to tell you about this thing I did this weekend, and I'm like, I don't care. I literally don't care about your weekend. But I can't do that because I have to like fit into social norms. So I'm like, how?
this is why I'm like, we when you job hunt, you need to only look for remote jobs so that at least there's less of that.
Because I
Um,
end up just sitting there, and be like, because I'm like sitting there typing, like, hi, Audra. I'm like, hi. Like, how's your weekend? I'm like, good. They're like, and I can feel the like pregnant pause, and I'm like,
Steffi put
and I
this
sit
so
there hoping that they'll
well.
just leave, but they never just leave. And they're like by my cube, and they're like, you can ask me about my weekend. You should ask me. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, did you not take me not turning around
Also,
as a
thank you, Sarah.
sign that I didn't give a fuck? I'm trying to do your small talk thing, whereby me not turning to face you means I don't want to have a conversation. So instead, I'm like, tell me about your weekend. Sad?
As you're sitting
I don't
there, I
care.
just imagine your hands like gripping onto something, like just like tearing paper in your hands or something. Like just the
It is
energy of just like,
it is
yeah.
honestly excruciating, and I cannot take it. I'm like, please just leave me alone. I don't care about any of the things that you're telling me about. Oh my god, I'm so sorry that your cat ran outside.
This is
I
tricky. Maynard was like, just let people talk. Eventually, you'll either get the hint or write you off as stuck up.
I
Doesn't
could if I
always
was
work.
white. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna be honest. If I was white, I could do that. But I'm black, and I'll be called into HR. True story.
Yeah,
I am black. I will be called into HR.
yeah.
Audra, people have noticed that like maybe you're like a little unfriendly. Do you not like working here? I'm like, no, actually I don't. But, like I'm here.
Yeah. A lot of the like weird things that we get told to like it just they don't work. Especially when somebody is that desperate to talk to anybody, they don't. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, it just I've been like I am a black woman. I have been in HR far too many times. I have had my boss have conversations with me far too many times. Um, I get labeled a very particular way. I'm not into it.
yeah.
I realize that like I just have to pretend that I give a fuck about whatever people have to say, and I'm like,
I think the problem with like just letting them talk is the mental anguish. Like what
yes,
Audra
because I
is
hate
like,
it.
because that's the
I
thing
hate it.
is like
I
for
don't
some
care.
people, it's not just that small talk is annoying, is that it's very very difficult, and
It's
also
taxing.
listening or having to try to tune out, like it's just emotionally taxing. It's a
It
lot of
is taxing
energy
on my person.
wasted for nothing. Like for nothing,
Yes.
reality. And
It is
that's the
wasted
point that
energy. I don't like to
yeah.
waste like what little energy I have. I don't want to waste it on listening to your story about your cat running out into your apartment hall, and then you're like, and then I gave him a carrot, and like he came running to me, and my boyfriend was like, see, I told you we would come home. I'm like, Jessica, I don't give a fuck. Go to your cubicle. Go. Let me
Fuck Jessica.
like I put on headphones specifically to be unfriendly so that I can just do my job. And then people
Yeah.
are just like, and they do the tappy thing. They're like, ah. And I'm like, I don't know how the fuck else to tell you. I don't
Can
want to
I
talk.
have you seen the like white woman, okay, it's a TikTok account, and it's not the only thing that this account does, but they have this series about like a white office. I'm pretty sure I shared it with you, like where they just like come into the office, they're like knock knock, and then they're like,
Yes.
oh, you're eating again, you're so brave, or like just like the kinds of office talk where I am just like, I want to rage against this.
I get broken. People just
Yeah.
showing up and like, hey Audra, how you doing today? I'm good. Oh, what are you working on? Nothing now. What the fuck do you want? Like that, like that's how I feel. Like I am not working now because apparently you want to talk to me. Like, why wouldn't you just come over to my shitty fucking cubicle, which I have decorated to like I've decorated my little prison cell that you have assigned me,
Prison cell.
and now you want to talk to me. And now I have don't ask me what I'm just say what you want to say and let the words fall out honestly. Like that's I
I
please
don't remember the
thank you. I'm
words,
like,
but just the
please let it
melody.
go. I don't have
Uh,
the energy. Like just say what you want to say. Stop with like all of this like preemptive shit is just honestly stressful. And I'm just like, can you get to the part where you say what you want?
yeah, yeah.
Like, please do it. I want to see you go away. Okay, Jerry, that's my new favorite thing.
Yes. Also, I feel like if you ever get an office job in the future, I feel like we need like a text code, and hopefully I could just call you. So if you have somebody I can call you, and then you could pretend like you have serious work conversations to deal with on the phone. In reality, I'm saying nothing, or I'm just like playing say what you
Listen,
want to say into the phone until they walk away.
if you ever catch me on a date with a man, call me immediately. Immediately. There's no
Done.
reason for me to be dating a man. Like it's 2021. Why? There's none. I'm pan. I am not dating a man.
No.
I'm
Also,
going to leave
that's
y'all on this note. I don't understand why I can't find a nice, non binary, perhaps trans person, uh, androgynous, who doesn't want but loves cuddles and kisses. If you're out there, hit me up. All right.
I was just gonna say. I was like, the more you put it out into the universe, the more it shall come back to you.
I'm like, please don't make my bed stink and I don't want to sleep in a wet spot. Thank you. That is it. We've been here for an
On that
hour and 48
note,
minutes. I really liked this. I think sometimes we should do this more where we just like come in like
yeah,
nothing in particular, just relax, chill, and just have like a full on fucking chat because it's nice. If
this is really
you have
nice.
not subscribed to Emily Hanham, you should. The information in the description below. It will be because I think I have to fix that. but that's okay. I need to fix that. And honestly, thank you all. I want to see you be brave. You know what I'm going to say. It costs $0 to be kind. And it's so good for your soul. Because if you don't take care of it, I'm sure it's all coming for yours. And until next time, XOXO. Got the girl.
See you tomorrow night.